بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا أما بعد. So we'll continue tonight inshallah with the Tafsir from the short surahs. And we finished last week Tafsir Surah Al-Fatiha last week. Last week was Tafsir, the explanation of Surah Al-Fatiha. And tonight we'll start with the next surah, Al-Zalzalah. Al-Zalzalah, Al-Zalzalah, the earthquake, Surah Al-Zalzalah. And these are the short surahs from Juz Amma, the short surahs from the last 30th of the Quran that most people usually recite in their daily prayers. Usually, these surahs, these short surahs, Fatiha, Zalzalah, An-Nas, Al-Falaq. And as he mentioned in the beginning of this section of the book, that if a person memorized and understood these surahs, which is approximately 16 surahs from the end of the Quran, it will be enough for them to complete their obligatory salawat, the obligatory prayers, and it will be enough for them to use to stand to pray Qiyam al-Layl, if they wanted to stand and pray Tahajjud. If a person were to memorize this amount, not that a person has to stop there, but if a person memorized this will be enough to complete their obligatory prayers throughout the day and voluntary prayers. If a person wanted to stand and pray at night, they wanted to get up in the middle of the night and make tahajjud. If they memorized from Al-Zalzalah to An-Nas, which is about 16 surahs, and Shaykh Razak said, Hafidahullah, this will be enough for the regular, everyday Muslim. And if a person chooses and they want to go further, they memorize and complete the Quran, and this is khair wa barakah, and this is even better. So last week we finished Al-Fatiha, which is the surah that we read in every rak'ah and every salat. And Al-Fatiha is a pillar, a rukn min arkan as-salat. It's from the pillars of the prayer that it has to be read in every rak'ah for every salat. The obligatory prayers and the voluntary prayers. And the last couple of ayat from Al-Fatiha, starting with Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, as he explained, is a dua that we make at least 17 times a day. At least. If we're praying all 5 of the daily prayers, then we're saying this dua, oh Allah, guide us to the straight path. We're making this dua at least 17 times a day. That's not including if a person is praying their Sunan al-Rawatib, the voluntary prayers connected to each obligatory prayer. The 2 voluntary prayers before Fajr, the 2 Sunan before Fajr, that the Prophet ﷺ said about the 2 Sunnah rak'ah before Fajr, that he said those 2 Sunnah rak'ah are better than this world, this dunya, and everything in this dunya. 2 rak'ah. It doesn't take more than 3 minutes to make 2 rak'ah. So if a person prays those 2 rak'ah, then they recite Al-Fatiha 19 times in a day. And if they're praying the 4 sunan after dhuhr, then we up to 21. And if they pray the 4 sunan before dhuhr, we up to 25. And if we pray the 2 after maghrib, 27. The 2 after isha, 29. Almost 30 times a day that we're reading Al-Fatiha, and we make the dua, Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim. And we say, oh our Lord, guide us to the straight path. And after that ayat, Allah described the path, or He described the 2 paths that we don't want to go down. The 2 paths that we don't want to go down. As He says, Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, Sirat al-Ladina an'amta alayhim, the path of the righteous. We're asking Allah to guide us to the path of the righteous, the people, the Nabiyyin, the prophets and the messengers. And then we say, Sirat al-Ladina an'amta alayhim ghayrul maghdubi, not the path not the path of those who your anger is upon. Don't put us on the path of those that you are angry with. And this dua we make at least 17 times a day. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ, not those who you are angry with. وَلَا الضَّالِينَ, and not those who are astray. And as he said, these are two descriptions that we ask Allah to protect us from. To not be from the people who Allah is angry with. And as it says in the Tafsir, those were the Jews, the people who had knowledge. The people who had knowledge, they had knowledge and they didn't act on the knowledge. So he says those are the Jews and those who take the path, who follow their path. مِمَّنْ يَعْلَمَ الْحَقِّ وَلَا يَعْمَلُ بِهِ, those people who know the truth, but they don't follow the truth. So we ask Allah to protect us from following that path. And then we ask Allah also, وَلَا الضَّالِينَ, and to make us not from the people who are وَلَا الضَّالِينَ, those who are misguided, as the Tafsir says, meaning the Christians. Why? Because the Christians are the people who knew, or they didn't know. They didn't have knowledge, and they would make their worship based on ignorance. They would worship based on ignorance, without knowledge. So after we ask Allah to guide us to the straight path and the path of those who implement knowledge and action, then we ask Allah to protect us from knowing and not acting on the knowledge. And we also ask Allah to protect us from being ignorant, as ignorant is not a praiseworthy characteristic. A lack of knowledge, not knowing, is not something that is a praiseworthy characteristic in Al-Islam, no matter how famous this idea may be. Now it is as if it is okay to be ignorant. As the statement now is, it doesn't matter because I'm not a student. As if the Muslim is not responsible for a certain level of knowledge. All the Muslims are responsible for a certain level of knowledge, and some levels of knowledge are what is considered fard kifaya. That if some from the Muslims learn this knowledge, then the rest of the Muslims are relieved from that duty. But there are some aspects of knowledge of the religion that every Muslim is supposed to have knowledge of, and that is stuff that is fard ayn, that we need every day. So we make dua that Allah Jalla wa Ala in every rak'ah, when we read Al-Fatiha, that He protect us from being people who know the truth and that they don't follow the truth. We don't want to be from those people, and we also don't want to be from the people who are ignorant. Therefore, we worship based on our own feelings and our own desires. Tayyib. The next surah is Surah Al-Zalzalah, the earthquake. The earthquake, as it's translated. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصْدُرُ النَّاسُ أَشْتَاتًا لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Al-Zalzalah, the earthquake, as he starts off saying that this is a great surah. This surah is a serious surah, and it describes some things that will happen Yawm al-Qiyamah. So he says, in this surah, it describes some of the great issues التي تكون بين يدي قيام الساعة. With the approach of Yawm al-Qiyamah, when the last day is approaching, there are some things that are going to happen. From those things, مما يكون بين يدي قيام الساعة تزلزل الأرض وهو ارتجاجها واهتزازها. The shaking of the earth. That the ground will shake. There will be a shaking. And this is a real shaking. This is not like a metaphor. The shaking of the earth. That the earth will actually shake. So Allah says in the first ayat, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. When the earth shakes, a great shaking. There will be a great shaking when the earth will shake. ارتجت واهتزت وتحركت. That the earth will move, will be a moving, showing the greatness and the severity of Yawm al-Qiyamah, that the earth will move. And then he goes on, Allah says in the next ayat, وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا, and that the earth will spit out, some things will come out of the ground. And this is a vivid surah. Some things will come out of the actual ground. أَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ مَا فِي بَطْنِهَا مِنَ الْأَمْوَاتِ الَّذِينَ دُفِنُوا فِيهَا. From those things that will come out of the ground are the dead bodies that were buried in the ground. The dead bodies that were buried in the ground. And this is with the approach of Yawm al-Qiyamah. This is from the things that will happen. And it is, as this is the ayat in the Quran, where Allah informs us of the things that will happen Yawm al-Qiyamah. So these are things that are obligatory for the Muslim to believe in. It's obligatory for the Muslim to believe in these events that Allah said will take place. Allah said, وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا, that the earth will spit out what is contained inside of it. Meaning the earth will spit out the dead bodies that were buried inside of the earth. They will come out of the ground. They will be pushed out. وَأَلْقَتْ مَا فِيهَا مِنْ كُنُوزٍ, or treasures, things that may have been buried for how many years only Allah knows, that those things will be pushed out of the earth. He says, وَهَذَا إِخْرَاجُ لِهَؤُلَاءِ النَّاسِ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ وَإِيذَاءٌ بِقِيَامِ السَّاعَةِ. This, the fact that the people that were buried in the earth are going to be pushed out, and that the things are going to be coming out of the earth, this shows that Yawm al-Qiyamah is approaching. That Yawm al-Qiyamah is approaching. That the dead bodies, Allah A'lam how long that they've been buried there, but those bodies will be pushed out of the earth. Those bodies will be pushed out of the earth, along with treasures that may have been buried. Sometimes people bury money, or they bury things that maybe they want to say was precious, some precious things that they bury. Everything will be pushed out of the earth. وَالْوُقُوفِ بَيْنِ يَدَيِ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. Because the approach of Yawm al-Qiyamah is coming, and the standing before Allah. The standing before Allah Jalla wa Ala, that we all have to stand before Allah. The time. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. At this point, mankind, the people, will be confused. So they will look, as if you can imagine, dead bodies coming out of the ground that were buried maybe hundreds and thousands of years. So the people will be confused. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. What is wrong with the earth? Why are treasures being pushed out of the earth? Why are dead bodies being pushed out of the earth? يَقُومُ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ قَبْرِهِ إِلَى حَشْرِهِ وَوُقُوفِهِ بَيْنِ يَدَيْ رَبِّهِ مَذْهُولًا مِنْ هَذَا الْأَمْرِ الْعَجِيبِ وَالْمَنْظَرِ الْمَهُولِ. That what? People will be coming up out of their graves. The people will be coming up out of their graves and coming towards, or walking towards the gathering place where we will all be gathered to stand before Allah Jalla wa Ala to answer and be held accountable for our actions. قَائِلًا. And as the people come out of their graves and they're walking towards the gathering place, he says, قَائِلًا مَا لَهَا مَا لِلْأَرْضِ حَصَلَ لَهَا هَذَا الَّذِي حَصَلَ. What is wrong with the earth that is behaving like this? What is causing the earth to spit out dead bodies? Why is the earth spitting out the treasures that were buried? So when the people come up out of their graves and they're going towards the gathering place where mankind will be gathered, at the same time they will be saying, what is wrong? What's going on? What's wrong with the earth? Showing the greatness and the seriousness of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yawm al-Qiyamah is a real day. Yawm al-Qiyamah, al-Iman, Yawm al-Akhir. Belief in the last day is from the usul al-Iman, it's from the pillars of faith. That every Muslim has to believe in Yawm al-Qiyamah. That there's a day of judgment. There's a day when we will all be held accountable for what we say, for what we do, for what we hear, for what we look at. That we will be held accountable for our actions. even if right now there may not be what we see to be an immediate punishment. We may not be held accountable immediately now, right? Because some actions have immediate punishment. If we were living under the Islamic rule, if we were living under the Islamic rule, some punishments are immediate in this life, like zina, stoning, murder, lashing. There are, or even theft. There are immediate actions if we were living in an Islamic country, living under the rule of the Sharia. But we can't get lazy and think that because we're not living in an Islamic country that we won't be held accountable for our actions. We can't think that because we're not living under the Islamic law that there will be no punishment if we fall into these sins and actions. That these actions, the punishment is real. Yawm al-Qiyamah is real. Yawm al-Qiyamah is a real day that we all have to prepare for and advise one another to prepare for. And that is the importance of having good companionship, keeping good people around you to advise and remind you to be in the remembrance of Allah, and not to keep around you a bunch of what we call yes men. Yes men, people that agree with everything you do. If a person agrees with everything you do, how sincere of a friend are they? If they allow you to disobey Allah in front of them, you know it's wrong and they know it's wrong, and they allow you to keep going. How much do they really love you? Lillah, for Allah's sake. So, as the people are walking towards the gathering place, they will be saying, مَا لَهَا, as Allah said in the ayat, وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. That mankind will say, what is wrong with the earth? Why? Why are the dead people being pushed up? يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, and this is rather vivid. It's vivid. The picture is clear. And that's another benefit of learning Arabic, is that the ayat are clear. He revealed the Quran in clear Arabic. Right? In clear Arabic. The wording is clear. يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. That day, Yawm al-Qiyamah, when the earth تحدث, the earth will speak. The earth will talk. The earth itself will talk. تحدث الأرض بما كان عليها. The earth will speak about everything that took place on it. وما فعل الناس فوقها من خير أو شر. And everything that mankind did, everything that we did, whether it's good, whether it's righteous deeds, good deeds, or evil, or if it's disobedience, that the earth will speak and it will be revealed about everything that took place. Everything that took place will come to light. Therefore, if we're oppressing someone, or if we're oppressing animals, or if we're oppressing anything from the creation of Allah Jalla wa Ala, that Yawm al-Qiyamah, that the earth will speak about akhbaraha, akhbar, everything that took place on the earth will come to light. Nobody gets over. Nobody's going to get over. Nobody's going to get over. Everybody's going to get their due and their haq, their due, what they're entitled to. He says, وَهَذَا فِيهِ أن الأرض تشهد بما حصل عليها من أخبار وأحوال وأقوال وأعمال قام بها الناس. And this is that the earth itself will be a witness, will come as a witness. The earth itself will bear witness. It will bear witness to everything that took place on the earth. Everything that took place, the earth will bear witness that it took place. So no one will be able to lie. No one will be able to deny something that they did. As he says, من أخبار وأحوال وأقوال, statements, no one will be able to deny a statement that they said. وأعمال قَامَ بِهَا النَّاسِ, and no one will be able to deny an action that they did. Even the actions that we do, that only Allah sees, we won't be able to deny them. The statements that we say, that may be public, or they may be private, we won't be able to deny them. We won't be able to deny the private ones, let alone deny the public ones that other people may have heard us say, which is, or should be, a discouragement. This should discourage us, and it should encourage us. It should encourage us to guard our tongues. To guard our tongues, that we have angels, that we all have an angel on our right and on our left, recording our statements. That we have an angel. We all have angels that Allah has appointed to each person on the right and on the left, as it comes in Surah Al-Qaf, writing down everything that we say. Whether it's truth that we're saying or it's falsehood. That no statement goes by except that it is recorded. مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ. That there's no statement that a person utters except that it is recorded by the angels, as it comes in Surah Al-Qaf. And then, Yawm al-Qiyamah, that the earth itself will bear witness against every person. It will be a witness of what every person said, as well as what every person did. So if we know this type of thing, we have to prepare ourselves. We have to advise each other to prepare. Because we got a phenomenon now that we just talk about each other as if backbiting is permissible. As if the angels are not writing down what we're saying. We talk about people as if the angels aren't recording. We talk about people without right. We don't know if it's true or not. We just relaying statements. I heard this one say, so I'm saying what they said. We don't know if it's true or not. And we could be oppressing somebody. It's possible that we oppress someone. It's possible that we oppress someone. And then they come Yawm al-Qiyamah and they want their right. And then Yawm al-Qiyamah, the earth testifies against us. That's why salam al-afiyah. That's why protect us. Allah says next, after the earth being a shaheed, a shahid, that the earth testifies. It says, shahadatun minha alayhim bi amrillah. That Allah will allow the earth to testify, bear witness of everything that took place. And then Allah said, bi anna rabbaka awhalaha. That Allah commanded the earth, amaraha wa adhina laha bihadihi shahada. That Allah allowed the earth to bear witness, and He commanded the earth. He's going to command the earth to speak about what happened on the earth. Therefore, nothing will slip by. Allah will command the earth to bear witness, and everything is being recorded, and the earth will bear witness to every action that took place on earth and every statement that took place on earth. All of this is in Surah Al-Zalzalah. يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. That day when the earth will speak about everything that took place on it, from statements and actions and all of the different situations that took place. And Allah said, why is that? بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَالَهَا. Because Allah Jalla wa'ala will command the earth to speak, will command the earth to bear witness. So nothing will go by unnoticed. And after that, Allah discusses the situation of the people in the meeting place, when everyone will come to stand to be held accountable for their actions. Yawm al-Hisab, to be held accountable. Every person, it says, وَالْحِسَابْ كُلٌّ بِحَسْبِ عَمَلِهِ. Every person will be dealt with according to their actions. No one will be oppressed. Every person will get their due right. Even if we're being oppressed in this life, even if someone is oppressing us in this life, number one, we should be making dua. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said that from the du'as, from the prayers that are answered, he said that there are 3 prayers that are answered, وَلَا شَكْ فِيهِنَّ, with no doubt about it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said there are 3 prayers that are answered, وَلَا شَكْ فِيهِنَّ, without a doubt. There are 3 prayers that are answered in the hadith. He said the first prayer, he said da'wat al-walid, the prayer of the parent. The parent's prayer for the offspring. The parents' prayer for their children, he said, La shak fihinna, that the prayer is answered. And he said, Da'wat musafir, the prayer of the traveler. With no doubt, we have to believe these are hadith. That if we're traveling, we need to make dua. As he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the prayer of the traveler is accepted. Wala shak fihinna, without a doubt. And lastly, he said, Da'wat al-mazloom. He said, the prayer of the person who is being oppressed. So if someone is oppressing us, we need to make dua firstly. As the Prophet ﷺ said that the da'wat al-mazloom mustajaba wala shak fihinna, aw kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam, that the prayer of the person who is being oppressed is answered. And oppression could be in many different ways. If a person could be oppressing us, it could be many forms of oppression. Zulm, the different types of zulm. But this type of zulm, where a person oppresses another person, it could be that they take something from someone that they have no right to take. It could be that they take money from another person that they have no right to take. Or they take some belongings from someone that they have no right to take. It's not theirs to take. Or it could be that they prevent a person from receiving their right. A lot of times we have with marriages, and marriage and divorce. They come and say, she won't let me see the kid, she's keeping me from seeing my kids, or he's keeping me from seeing my children, or whatever the case may be. If we're oppressing, if we're being oppressive, that Yawm al-Qiyamah, that all of this, we're all going to be held accountable for our actions. If we're being oppressed, number one, we need to follow the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said that the da'wah, the dua of the person who is being oppressed will be answered without a doubt. If we're really being oppressed, we should be making dua, as that dua is answered. Or a person could be preventing a person from their haqq, something that is supposed to be theirs, but they don't give it to a person. Whatever it could be. It could be something from the dunya, it could be rights, it could be nights for brothers with multiple wives. If you have more than one wife, they have rights, they have hukuk, haqq. Even into marriage, she has a mahar, a dowry. That's her haqq. Right? Sometimes it comes up. We got married. The brother said he was going to give me the dowry next month. We've been married 4 years. He still didn't give me the dowry. She wants her haqq. It's still on his neck. He's still responsible for it. It's still obligatory on him. Right? All of the rights that are obligatory have to be fulfilled. And if not, a person, if they're oppressed and they make dua, the Prophet ﷺ said that the dua of the oppressed person is answered without a doubt. Allah said after that, Yawma idin, meaning Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yawm al-Qiyamah, yasru nasu ashtata. That the people will be gathered ashtata. Asnafin wa ajnasin, in groups. People will be gathered in groups. Kullun bihasbi amalihi min khayrin aw sharrin. Every group that people will be gathered will be according to their actions. Good actions and bad actions. This is not only for khayr. This is for if the actions are righteous or if the actions are evil. Disobedience to Allah Jalla wa Ala. That everyone will be gathered in groups. لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ. Allah says after that, لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ. So that they will see, they can see their actions. يُشَاهِدُوا وَيَقِفُوا عَلَى مَا قَدَّمُوهُ. So that every person will come and they can see the actions that they put forth. As Allah said in Surah Al-Isra. Allah said in Surah Al-Isra, the 17th surah, where Allah says that every person, وَكُلُّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرُهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ. He said every person will come Yawm al-Qiyamah with his book of deeds attached to his neck, attached to his or her neck. Every person will come Yawm al-Qiyamah with their book of deeds attached to their neck. And it will be said to each person, اقرأ كتابك, read your own book. We will read from our own book. Therefore, no person can slide anything in. Huh? Maybe if somebody else reads your book and they don't really care too much for you, they might slide something extra in on you. Huh? Or if somebody really loves you and they read your book, they might take something out, try to decrease so you don't get that punishment. Every person will read their own book. Iqra kitabak. As it says, and the ayat is clear. Iqra kitabak. Read your book. Kafa bi nafsika al-yawma alayka hasiba. Allah said that you yourself, we will be enough. It will be enough that we bear witness. That we witness on our own souls. That will be enough Yawm al-Qiyamah. That we bear witness against our own selves for what we did. So he said that all of the people will come and they will be in groups according to their actions so that they will see their actions. They will bear witness. We will bear witness to all of our actions that we did. He says, وَفَعَلُوهُ مِنْ أَعْمَالٍ سَوَاءٌ كَانَتْ أَعْمَالًا خَيْرًا أَوْ شَرًّا. That we will bear witness to our actions if the actions are good or if the actions are bad. So we won't come and we're only going to stand up and everything is going to be all in our favor. Even the stuff that is against us. That we have to bear witness against our own selves. Which shows we don't have time to play. We don't have time to play. We don't have time. We don't have time to play. We're going to all come and we won't be worried about, as Allah says in another ayat, that a man will run away from his wife and the wife will run away from her husband Yawm al-Qiyamah. And the parents will run away from their children Yawm al-Qiyamah. That everybody is busy. Everybody will be busy with their own situation out of the seriousness on that day. We have to prepare. We have to prepare now. He says that yushahidu, that they will bear witness on their own selves based on their actions, whether those actions were good or bad. Whether those actions were good or bad. بِمَثَاقِيلِ الضَّرْبِ. طيب. He says, يُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ كُلَّهَا لَا يَنْقُصْ مِنْ عَمَلِهِمْ شَيْءٌ. That we will all see our deeds. We will all see all of our deeds and nothing will be taken out. Nothing will be erased. There's nothing that will be erased from our book of deeds. لا ينقص من أعمالهم شيء. Nothing will be erased from our book of deeds. And everything will be there that we did. لا من خير العمل ولا من شره. No good action will be deleted. It's not like we come Yawm al-Qiyamah and some of the good deeds that we did in this life. We ask Allah to accept them, that some of the good deeds we come Yawm al-Qiyamah and we show up and those deeds are not there. No, everything, all the good deeds will be there. Also the bad deeds, the disobedience, all of disobedience will be there. All of the disobedience will be there. من خيرها وشرها. He says, لا من خير العمل ولا من شره. That those actions from khayr, from good, the obedience, will be there, as well as the shar, the evil. لا من قليله ولا من كثيره. That the little actions, the little actions, that little dollar that we put in the sadaqah box, or the change that we give to the whoever, that's those small things. The small things that we do, they won't be deleted. Those small things won't be deleted from the book. They'll be there. Everything will be there. وَلَا مِن كَثِيرِهِ. And the actions that we do in abundance. Ask Allah to make us a people of ibadah, worship. That we're a people of worship and that we're not a people of a bunch of talk. That we're not people who just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. That we follow the example of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. That he would pray at night until his feet were swollen, until his ankles were swollen, alayhi salatu wasalam. So Aisha radiallahu anha, she asked him, why would you stand like that and pray when your past sins have been forgiven and your future sins are forgiven? Alayhi salatu wasalam. How do you still pray at night until your feet are swollen? He said, shouldn't I be a thankful servant? Shouldn't I be thankful? If I'm thankful, it shows. If we're thankful for the blessings that Allah gives us, then it shows in our actions. It shows in our ibadah. And this is the example left by the Prophet ﷺ, and by the Imams from the Sahaba and the Imams of the Salaf and the Tabi'een. as Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah. Does anybody know what Imam Ahmad is famous for? Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Does anybody know what Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal is famous for? He's famous for a lot of things, but anybody know one? Huh? Imam Ahmad. Imam Ahmad is famous for his defense. He stood up during his time to defend the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in Aqidah. He defended the belief system of the Muslims and the people, the ruler of his time. He said that the Quran was created. And many of the scholars of that time gave in. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he didn't give in. He stood up and he was beat. He was tortured. He was whipped. He was put in jail. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. He stood up for the belief of Ahl Sunnah, and he was jailed and tortured by the ruler of the Muslims at that time, Imam Ahmad. He's also famous for his knowledge of hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Has one of the biggest collections, the Musnad of Imam Ahmad. He's a muhaddith, scholar of hadith. He's a scholar of aqidah. He's a scholar when it comes to the belief system of the Muslims. He's a scholar when it comes to the science of hadith. Also, he's also a scholar of fiqh. He has a madhab, one of the four madhab, the last in sequential order, after Imam Abu Hanifa, and after Imam Malik, and after Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad rahimahullah is the last. He's famous for his knowledge of fiqh. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. From the examples at the ulama al-salaf, they were people of ibadah. His son, Abdullah rahimahullah. Abdullah said that his father, meaning Imam Ahmad, he said Imam Ahmad would pray every day, outside of the 5 daily prayers, outside of the 5 salawat. He said my father would pray 300 rak'ah, extra, yawmiyan, every day. 300 rak'ah, extra. 300. Allah musta'an. If we go back to the time of the Prophet ﷺ, he would stand at night till his feet were swollen. Abdullah ibn Umar, anhuma, he was known to be severe in following the sunnah. He was serious about following the sunnah. So much that he would walk. If he saw the Prophet ﷺ walked in a certain place, he would put his foot exactly where the Prophet ﷺ stepped. Exactly where the Prophet ﷺ would walk, he would try to walk there. Abdullah ibn Umar, anhuma. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, his son said, which shows the tarbiyah, the example that is set by the father in the home, that Abdullah, the son of Imam Ahmad, said, my father would pray 300 rak'ah, extra, every day. 300, Allahu Akbar, 300 rak'ah. He said, but when they beat him, because he stood up for the aqidah of Ahl Sunnah, when he was tortured by the ruler, and they beat him, and they stopped him from teaching in the masjid. He couldn't teach in the masjid anymore. He would just go to the masjid and go back home. When the ruler came down on him, they said, but when he was tortured and he was sick, and they beat him so bad that they could see the whelps on his back and all. He was tortured. It was a serious beating. He said, but when they beat him and he couldn't really stand that long, right? He couldn't stand as long as he used to be able to stand after he got beat. Abdullah said, rahimahullah, he said, but when my father was beaten, tortured, he couldn't pray 300, so he would just pray 150 extra. Allah Akbar. 150 rak'ah extra every day. These were people of ibadah, worship. Not just running around talking. A new Arabic word, new this, new kufi, new this. We look good, mashallah. But there's no substance. The substance has to be there. The ulama themselves, they were people of worship, knowledge and worship. Allah musta'an. It says that nothing will be deleted from the book, not a little bit of it and not a lot of it. Whatever action that we did, or that was a small action, that won't be deleted. It will still be there. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the best actions are those that are consistent. And then he said, وَإِنْ قَلَّ, even if it's small. The most consistent actions are the best actions, as he said, ﷺ, even if that action is something small. Even if it's small. which shows that we have to be sincere. Sincerity is a major issue. That we have to check our intention and make sure that we set goals to be that something that we can achieve, something that's doable, not what the person next to us can do, or what the imam, or what this one does. What can I do every day, consistent, even if it's small, that's an act of worship that I can build up, and then hopefully, inshallah, Allah accept it and get some reward Yawm al-Qiyamah. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the best deed, the best deeds, he said, are those that are consistent, وَإِنْ قَلَّ, even if it's a small action. So nothing will be erased from the book, not the small actions, and not those actions that we do in abundance. ثُمَّ يُنَالُ الثَّوَابِ عَلَى الْعَمْلِ الصَّالِحِ وَالْإِقَابِ عَلَى الْعَمْلِ السَّيِّئِ. And at that point, the reward will be given for the righteous action. The reward for the righteous action will be given, and the punishment, there will be a punishment. There's a punishment, an adhab. Allahu musta'an. There's a punishment, Yawm al-Qiyamah. There's a punishment for disobeying Allah. Allahu A'lam, why do we think it's okay to disobey Allah nowadays on camera? Why do we think it's okay to record ourselves disobeying Allah and to show the world? As there's a punishment, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Al-adhab, the adhab is real. There's a punishment. Disobedience is not okay. Allah said, we created you and the jinn to worship me, not to disobey me. If we disobey Allah, we make tawbah. We don't expose our sins to the public. Let alone record ourselves or take pictures of ourselves doing disobedience and then show them to the world. It said the action, those righteous actions, there will be a reward for the righteous action, and at the same time there's a punishment. There's a punishment for disobedience. There's a punishment for disobedience, and this is something that is we need to remind each other of. We need to remind each other constantly that there will be people in the hellfire being tortured. And there are many descriptions of the hellfire throughout the Quran. As Allah mentions in Surah Al-Fatir, where Allah said that the people in the hellfire will be screaming. They will be screaming. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to protect us from the hellfire and our families. He said that the people in the hellfire will be screaming to come back, to get out. Just send me back so I can do some righteous actions. We don't want to be the people that wait until that time and then we regret it to come back. We don't have time. We don't know. We don't know how many days we have to, as we say, get right. We don't know how many days we have left to get back on our deen. I ain't deening. We don't know how long we have. So he says that the punishment for those for disobedience will be given, and the reward for obedience will be given. Then Allah says, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. Whoever does a good action, even if it's the size as it's translated as a mustard seed, the smallest action, if it's from good, khair, then a person will receive, they will see it Yawm al-Qiyamah. And the same is the opposite. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. And whoever does the smallest evil, they will be held accountable for it. They will be held accountable for it. No matter how small it is. That's why we have to make tawbah. We have to repent to Allah Jalla wa Ala. We have to make tawbah because we will be held accountable. There's a book. We all have a book of deeds, as Allah says, that will be rolled out. It will be rolled out. We won't be worried about anybody else's book. The book will be attached to our own necks. It will be rolled out, and then we'll be told to read from our own book. And everything will be in there. Allah says if a person does any bit of good, the smallest form of good that we do, it will be in the book. And the smallest form of evil will be in the book. He says, وَهَذَا فِيهِ تَنْبِيهٌ لِلْعِبَادِ أَلَّا يَحْقِرُوا مِنْ أَعْمَالِ الْخَيْرِ شَيْئًا. He said, and this is a warning. This is a warning that we have to pay attention, that we should not belittle. We should not look down on any type of righteous action. Anything from khair, any form of, any good deed that we do, we shouldn't look at it and just be, that wasn't about nothing. We don't know. We might think it's small, but we don't know. If our intention is correct, we don't know how heavy it is on our scale. He said this is a tanbih for the worshipers. This is a reminder, or for the worshipers, the slaves, to pay attention to don't belittle any action of good. Don't belittle any action of good, as the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ittaqun nar walau bi shakki tamar." Fear, have fear of the fire. Fear the fire, even if it's by giving a date sadaqah, one date. Even if you can only give one date sadaqah, have fear of the fire by giving that one date with a sincere intention. SubhanAllah, that we should not belittle. We should not belittle our sins, or we should not belittle our good deeds at all, even if it's with one date. Even if it's by giving one date sadaqah. That we should try to establish things that can be long lasting for us after we're dead. As during Ramadan in Mecca, during Ramadan, as it gets closer to the adhan for Maghrib, when it's almost time to break fast for Salat al-Maghrib, when it's almost time to break fast, you find people on the street corner. A regular person, he goes to the store, he buys a pack of waters with his own money. They can buy a pack of waters, they buy individually wrapped dates, they buy something for people to break fast with, and they stand at a red light, 10 or 15 minutes before the adhan. They stand at red lights, and every time the cars stop at the red light, they run up on cars and give them a package or so for the people to break fast with. Ejah. How much does that cost? Waters, $4 a pack, 3 for 10. Waters 3 for 10, right? And they run up on cars and just give it out. And the benefit, the beautiful thing is they got children with them. They have kids with them doing the same thing, showing them that we have to put things forward so that we have something to stand on Yawm al-Qiyamah from action. That we don't just have a bunch of words that we were talking about. He says, لا يحقر من أعمال الخير شيئا, that we should not belittle, we should not look down on any of our actions. We should not look down on any of our actions as if they are not sufficient, or as if they hold no weight. And the same thing, فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى, that whoever does an act, the small act of disobedience, that they will see it. That they will see it. عقوبة على أعماله جزاء وفاقا, that a person will receive the punishment according to the action, no matter how small the action is, as no one will be oppressed Yawm al-Qiyamah. عقوبة على أعماله جزاء, that a person will receive the punishment according to the action. That will be their reward for that action, is that punishment. وهذا فيه التحذير من الاستهانة بمحقرات الذنوب. This is a warning. This is a warning of belittling sins. That we should not belittle sins. Meaning we should not think it's no big deal if we disobey Allah. If we have the attitude that we can disobey Allah and it's not a big deal, then we have made a grave mistake. This is a major, major mistake. To think that we can disobey Allah and it's okay. It's a major, major mistake that we should never think that it is okay. بَلْ عَلَيْهِ أَنْ يَجْتَنِبَ الذُّنُوبِ كَبِيرَهَا وَصَغِيرَهَا. What we have to do, as he said, is to stay away from sins, the major sins and the minor sins. There's no time that we should say, well, that's just a major sin, so ain't no big deal like that. It's not a minor sin, that's just a major sin. And that is a mistake that we should never, as Allah says, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. Whoever does the littlest form of disobedience, the littlest form of evil, Yawm al-Qiyamah, that they're going to see that. They're going to receive their punishment. That a person will receive their punishment for that. So we should never belittle sins as belittling sins, to look at sins as if they're not a big deal. is from the way of the Murji'ah, a group called the Murji'ah, one of the first groups of innovation. We always talk about Ahlul Bid'ah. One of the first groups of Bid'ah, innovation in Islam, were the Murji'ah. And the Murji'ah, they have different levels. The lowest level of them, the lowest level of the Murji'ah, is that they do this here. They belittle sins. Sins aren't a big deal. Sins don't really make a difference. They don't really, if you sin, it doesn't affect your iman. This is from the first groups of innovation. Ahlul Bid'ah. The Murji'ah, Irja', that sins don't affect the person. So as long as you what? Believe in your heart and you say it with your tongue, your actions are not a big deal. We're all the same. It's dangerous. It's dangerous because it opens the door. It opens the door to openly disobeying Allah Jalla wa'ala. It opens the door to openly disobeying Allah. As if a person thinks that they're okay. Whatever I do, I'm still a Muslim. Whatever I do, I still have iman. That type of attitude is going to lead to more sin. That type of attitude is going to lead to more sin. And the Prophet ﷺ said the believer is the one, he said in authentic hadith, that the believer is the one who sees his sins, the sins that he commit, that a believer, when he commits a sin, he sees it as if it's a mountain that's getting ready to crumble on him. The believer, when he sins, it's like a mountain that's going to crumble on him. That's how heavy it is on him when he sins. How is it, if our iman is strong, how is it that we disobey Allah on tape? We're videoing ourselves disobeying Allah, and they show it to the world where the believer feels like a mountain is going to crush him. Salam wa afiyah. He says this is a warning from belittling sins. And this is part of the problem we have now. I can do what I want. I can say what I want. Only Allah can judge me. Internet talk. This is internet talk. Only Allah can judge me. Allah musta'an. That we will see. We will see every form of evil. We will see it. What is upon us is to make tawbah. To make tawbah. As Allah says, "O you believe, make a sincere tawbah. Tawbatan nasuha." Make a sincere tawbah. That we turn and we repent to Allah sincerely, seeking Allah's forgiveness. Seeking Allah's forgiveness, hoping that He forgives us, so that we come Yawm al-Qiyamah and we're not held, and that we're not punished in the hellfire, tortured in the hellfire. He says, so this is a warning against belittling sins, and this is something that has affected the Muslims, at least in this city. At least in this city, the Muslims have been affected with openly sinning. And there was a time in this town where the Muslims had a lot more shyness. They had a lot more shyness for disobeying Allah. If they were going to disobey Allah, they were outside. They wouldn't let people know that they were Muslim disobeying Allah. Yeah, if they were going to do something, they had a kufi on. They would take the kufi off. You're not going to stand outside with a kufi on, dressed up like a Muslim, and disobey Allah in front of everybody. There was a time like this. It used to be like this. Now, Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. Shows it's more than dress up. Islam is more than just dressing up. As we all know, we see people dressed up to the T. But the behavior, disobedience is on a high, all-time high. No shyness. The men and the women. The brothers and the sisters. Women dressed up, everything, mashallah. But when you talk to their co-workers and their neighbors, it's a different story. Our behavior doesn't match. The behavior doesn't match the look. And there was a time in this town, in Philly, where this was not acceptable. There was a time when it wasn't even acceptable. Now it's anything goes. We have to fear Allah. We have to know that Yawm al-Qiyamah is real. The punishment is real. The punishment is real. We all have a book that we're going to be held responsible for, with statements Our statements will be in there, our actions will be in there, we will be told to read it our own selves, and we'll be held accountable for. That we have angels that are recording, we have to make tawbah, and we have to be aware and remind each other of the seriousness of Yawm al-Qiyamah. And with this, he says that the person, we have to stay away, and يجتنب بل عليه أن يجتنب الذنوب كبيرها وصغيرها وإن وقع في شيء منها بادر إلى التوبة والإنابة إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى. And that if a person falls into sin, because none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect, but that's not an excuse for us to sin. That's not an excuse to openly sin. We don't run around saying, well, I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prophet, I can't do that. I'm not a prophet, I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. But as the Prophet ﷺ said, all of Bani Adam are khata'un. All of mankind make mistakes, but the best of you who make mistakes are those who repent. The best of you who sin are the ones who repent. And we have to make tawbah. We have to rush to make tawbah. Rush. We have to rush, be in a rush to seek Allah's forgiveness. We should be in a rush. We don't know if we're going to live another day or another hour to repent tomorrow. There's no guarantee. So he says, Badir ila tawbah wal inaba ila Allahi jalla wa ala. That if we fall into sin, and none of us are perfect, so we may fall into sin, that we rush to seek Allah's forgiveness, and that we return back to Allah seeking His forgiveness, and that we should not be okay with openly disobeying Allahu Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, as this is not from the behavior, this is not from the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ. This is not from the guidance of the Sahaba or the Tabi'een, that openly sinning was okay. Openly sinning wasn't a big deal. Even if it goes down to the courts, you want to get into books of hadith, the different sciences, the sinner, the statement of the fasiq, the statement of the open sinner, the person who openly disobeys Allah. His statement is not accepted in court. If he's a witness, they don't even accept his testimony. The one who openly sins, if they want to bear witness to something that happened, their statement is not even accepted. The one who openly sins, some of the ulama mentioned in the chapter of the adhan and the aqama, that the one who openly sins, his adhan is not valid, they say. The open sinner, that his adhan is not even valid. He shouldn't even be calling the adhan. He can't be trusted. Allah understand that this is a serious issue that we're dealing with. Allahu A'lam, where the idea came from that it's okay to be an open sinner and to disobey Allah. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Only Allah can judge me. Allahu A'lam where this idea came from. But it's not. This idea is not from the guidance of our Messenger ﷺ. It's not what Islam teaches. It's not what the Prophet ﷺ taught us. It's not what the Sahaba taught us. It's not what the Tabi'een, what the Tabi'een, or the Imams of the Salaf. No one taught this idea. And those people who did teach the idea that sins are no big deal. Those people who did look at sins that it's not a big deal. Sins don't affect your iman. It's no big deal as long as you believe in your heart and you say it with your tongue. Allah knows what's in my heart. I can't do all that. Allah knows what's in my heart. The only people who did promote that, were people of innovation, Ahlul Bid'ah, not the people of the Sunnah. The Murji'ah they're called. Those are the people who promoted it's okay to disobey Allah. Those are people who promoted if you make a sin, sins are no big deal. Actions are not from Iman anyway, to them. You don't have to do actions. As long as you believe in your heart and you say it with your tongue, that's enough. To the Murji'ah, to that group, that misguided group, they're not upon the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ. Those are the ones who okayed, who opened the door. They opened the door to the fusaq. As Shaykh Abdul Aziz al-Rajihi said, that when the Murji'ah, when they came and they belittled sins, they made it like disobeying Allah was no big deal. He said this opened the door for the open sinners. The people began to think it was okay to disobey Allah and open. And this is why we have to be careful. We have to be careful that we say we love the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the Sunnah of the Messenger ﷺ. That ain't from the Sunnah. This is from the Sunnah. That's not from the Sunnah. We have to learn what the Sunnah is. We have to learn what the Sunnah is. As Allah said in the Quran, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي. Allah said in the Quran, say to the people, O Muhammad, tell the people, if you really love Allah, then follow me. If we really love Allah, then we follow the guidance of the Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam. And the guidance of the Messenger is included in the way we believe. It's included in the way we believe, our aqeedah, the way we believe in Allah, the arkan al-iman, the arkan al-islam. Following the sunnah is included in the way we worship, the way we pray, the way we fast, right? The way we make hajj and umrah. It is included in worship. The way following the sunnah is also inclusive in al-akhlaq, the way we behave, our behavior. Our behavior, akhlaq, is a part of the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Morals, good character, is from the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they asked Aisha radiallahu anha, the famous hadith, the hadith is famous, we probably already know it, but we have to implement it. They asked her, what was his adab? How was he in the house? They asked Aisha, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, radiallahu anha, how was the messenger inside of the home? She said, khuluquhu al-Qur'an. His adab, the way he carried himself, was the Qur'an. He implemented the Qur'an. Not just outside in the masjid in front of all the brothers, not just in the masjid with the sisters. In the home, he behaved like a Muslim. He wasn't a tyrant. He wasn't a tyrant in the home, but when he came in the masjid, he's the most pious brother in the world. When she comes to the masjid, she's dressed up, mashallah, she's the most beautiful, the beautifulest sister in the world. She comes to the masjid. But in the home, she's a different person. The Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam, from akhlaq. That's why Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he mentioned at the end, we all know the book, Al-Aqidah Wasatiyah, book of Aqidah. But at the end of Aqidah Wasatiyah, he mentioned the adab. He mentioned the behavior. How do Ahl Sunnah behave? How? Behavior, good behavior is from the sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Foul mouth, having a foul mouth is not okay. It's not from the sunnah. It's not from the sunnah that our mouths are dirtier than the people we're calling to Islam. What type of da'wah are we giving people? If the way we speak is worse than the way they speak. Allah musta'an. We'll stop there we'll start next week with the surah Al-Adiyat. Al-Adiyat, but just as a reminder to myself that Allah musta'an, we have to encourage one another. We have to encourage one another. We have to be a reminder to each other. We have to be a reminder to each other that we have to do better. We're under the microscope as it is being Muslims. And we're under the microscope even more in this town with the number of Muslims. There are people who move to Philadelphia because of the number, because Islam is apparent. You can see it. You can see the women. You can see Kufis and the Saajid. Some of the masjid, they call the adhan out. So people move here. This is more than one person I heard this from. But when they move here and they get here, they say, y'all terrible. When they start mixing with us, they say, y'all terrible. Y'all sick people. They think we're sick. People that move here from outside of Philadelphia think we're sick. Allah musta'an. They think we're sick. They say, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. One brother said, what's wrong with y'all? He said, what's wrong with y'all? I said, what you mean? He said, like, we Muslim. I said, I know that. I mean, what's wrong with y'all? What do you mean? Y'all don't smile at people or nothing. Y'all don't even. Basic Islam, 101 Islam, y'all don't do that. But y'all got all of the stuff, y'all. All of the masajid, all these Tulab al-Ilm students of knowledge that want to study. All these classes y'all got going on. But when we come in contact with the people, everybody is hard. It's rare you find a nice brother. It's nice for no reason. Along the side. This is not from the guidance of our messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam. It's not from his guidance. But we know the best guidance is the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we're following the sunnah, we have to follow the sunnah in all aspects. Aqidatan. As far as the way we believe, the way we worship, ibadah, and our worship, and in the way we behave. We can't just behave any way we want and say, I'm still, My Aqidah is cool though. I'm still, my Aqidah straight. You, huh? Biggest drug dealer on the block. Saraha. Sarahatan. Right? Being realistically. People, this they talk about. This was non-Muslims. This is there. A lot of them. Not all, but a lot of them say the same thing. Who? The one with the big, oh, he got the one with the big beard? Oh, yeah. Huh? The one with that black mark on his head? Oh, yeah, he did such and such with my cousin. But they don't care. They don't hide your sins. They just tell you straight up. The one with the big beard, him? Oh, you pray with him? Yeah, oh, man, him and my cousin, they get money. Right? Expose us. We got to do better. Following the message, alayhi is not restricted. It's not restricted to one aspect without the other. The sunnah is in aqidah, the way we believe. The sunnah is in the way we worship. And the sunnah is in the way that we behave. Allahu a'lam. We'll stop there, inshallah, till next week. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.